whole process of identifying and expressing your emotions is based on the principles of mindfulness and gratitude, meaning that we will be focusing on the task at hand today for the next 1 hour, not focusing on anything else. We will be mindful, we will be present with ourselves. We will also be practicing gratitude through our therapy, which is another way of releasing stress, connecting to oneself, focusing on the positives on your life. Okay. And with using these sort of methods in your day-to-day care, in your self-care routine, it can also help you develop better focus, attention at work, and otherwise. So the basic objective, right? If any of you would like to know what you can look forward to, what to expect out of this session, of course, we have put it down in a PPT that we will share with you that you can go back to. But the overall objective of this session is to help you identify what you're going through, what your current mental status is, what your current set of feelings and emotions are, because the very first step towards mental health care is developing insight or understanding how you yourself are doing. Okay, is to identify what feelings you're feeling, because the first step towards getting better is processing how you feel. In objectives, we are going to connect to our senses, our 5 sensory organs. We are going to focus on them. We are going to still ourselves down. We are going to practice mindfulness. We are going to be calmer in this session. We will acknowledge and express our feelings through art. We are going to practice gratitude and hopefully move towards positive mental health. Right? All of these exercises, when done at a regular basis as a part of your daily self-care routine, is sort of like a buffer that one prevents you from lapsing into a terrible state of mental health, or it can even serve as a pick-me-up on a day when you need to return back to yourself, when you need to connect to yourself. All right. The scientific research benefits are here on this slide. One, of course, it lowers stress because you are physically going to be, visualizing how to take that stress out from your body. You're going to put it down on a piece of paper. You're going to develop better ways of processing emotions, identifying them so that you're able to talk about them more, so that there is less miscommunication in your interpersonal relationships. And over time, art therapy has also, proven to create new neural pathways in your brain, which allows you to develop new ways of thinking, allows you to develop new ways of processing information, doing things. Okay. So today we are going to be taking a look at 6 different techniques that we are going to practice hands-on throughout this session. So the 6 techniques that we are going to touch upon today will involve a little bit of mindfulness exercise, a little bit of gratitude exercises, a little bit of practicing positive self-affirmation, stress release techniques. Okay, so without further ado, we are going to start off, and I am going to give you say 2 or 3 minutes to locate a couple of things. One, I would require you all to have plain sheets of paper. Okay, pencil or pen, whatever you're comfortable with, and some colors. Okay, so I carry my own crayon box for sessions like these. You could have colored pencils, sketch pens, colored pens also. Even if you have a couple of colors, that's great. Okay, but the most effective way would be, of course, to come in with a box of crayons, oil pastels, colors, anything that you all can use throughout the session. If you all have these supplies with you, we will start off. Please let me know by putting in thumbs ups or however you want to. Let me know that you're ready. Okay, so before we go ahead, what I would like you all to do is take that sheet of paper, right, and visualize what you think you're feeling. Could be anything. It could be hungry, it could be sad, it could be happy, it could be anything. Take the color that you most relate to right now, draw a circle, fill it in, and name that circle with the emotion that you're feeling right now. This is the feeling that we are starting with. You could also put down in the chat box about what feeling you recognize that you're feeling and what color you have associated with it. I'm going to go first so that you guys have an example. Thank you, Aishwarya. I think Aishwarya and I are pretty much on the same page, excited and blue. Prasanna says angry and red. R says red and Shishti says yellow and calm. I hope that you're also filling in your circle as we talk. As you fill in your circle, pay close attention to the emotion that you have just identified. Feel that emotion as you color your circle in. Over here in my paper, I have a small blue ball. Okay, this is the base emotion in which we're starting off today's session. As we dive deeper and deeper, we'll be able to understand why we're feeling the way you're feeling. And of course, at the end of the session, if you feel that you have, unresolved feelings that came up, if you have thoughts that you'd like to discuss, please feel free to reach out to your care manager or to me directly, and we will have a one-on-one session. Now, the five senses technique depends on you connecting to each and every one of your five senses. What are your five senses? Touch, taste, smell, sight, hearing. What happens is now we are going to identify one object that you can process through all of your five senses. And what is the purpose of this? The purpose of this exercise is that as you focus on the object and you put it through each of the five different senses, you're going to focus singularly on your sensory organs. And while you do this exercise, I request you to let your thoughts come and go. To do not judge your thoughts, to not try to stop them or manipulate them in any way. Simply allow yourself to feel your thoughts and identify one object that you can see, touch, smell, taste, and feel all at the same time. As you locate this object, please put it on the group. Please put up a message on the group about what you have identified. If you don't want to do that, you can, one, draw that object on your piece of paper. Let us take 2 minutes to locate an object like that, and then we can discuss. For this particular step, you might have to, get up and move around. If you're not, if you do not have anything that meets all of the criterias, then you might have to take a step up from your seat. You might have to walk around your place, your house, your office, and find something that you can smell, taste, hear, see, and touch. If anybody has found an object like that, please raise your hand. Please let us know what you have found. Yes, Ashwarya, please tell me. Candy, amazing. So, Ashwarya, if you could, unmute yourself and describe how this particular thing, this piece of candy, is resonating to all five of your senses. I would request all of the attendees to please pay close attention to her description. Once she is done describing, I would like you all to think about, whatever personal thing that you have with you and write down which sense you used most or the most focused you were most focused on while identifying this object. Aishwarya, please go ahead.
It's like a tennis ball, obviously has a pineapple flavor, textury, very handy, sugary.
So sugary is what you have described after tasting it. Have you put
Yeah,
it in your mouth?
yeah.
Okay, all right. So Aishwarya, taking your example of candy, right? Which was the sense that first alerted you to its presence?
When I saw it, so actually the candy looks like a tennis ball. So
Mhm.
that was the reason it got my attention at first because it actually looks like a tennis ball, though it's a candy.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, wonderful. So basically, what we're doing here is we are focusing on one thing. We are identifying which sensory modality you use to focus on it the most. And from what you've described, your eyesight is what led you to this candy. Now, as you enjoy this candy, or as you feel this candy, or whatever other object you have around you, I would like you all to draw it. Rudimentary. It doesn't have to be perfect. Make a rudimentary drawing around it, and then, as you were drawing, record or note down what feeling you were feeling. It could be anything. It could be curiosity, it could be happiness, it could be satisfaction, disgust, even. Okay. So I would like you all to take a minute, draw whatever object you have with you or you're thinking of. Even if you don't have an object, if you're thinking of it, then please make a small rudimentary drawing of it. Color it in whatever color you feel like it should be. Okay. And then note down how you feel about it or what your thoughts and feelings were as you were drawing this object. Please take a minute. If you are done drawing whatever you were drawing, I would like you to take a moment to put the object you have drawn, what color you have drawn, and how you're feeling about it. I will go first. With me, just before the session, I had a bottle of soda, and that is the thing that I have drawn. I have drawn it in green. Okay, green is also a color that I associate with feeling a little self-conscious. Of course, it's a team that I am not able to view directly. If it was an offline session, I would have had better access to how you guys were feeling. Since that is absent, I think I most relate to feeling a little self-conscious while we're talking. Similarly, whatever you have drawn or whatever you have painted out, I would like you to put it in the group so that we all can have a look. Gems packet, colorful. Candy, green, curious, hesitant. Peach, blue. Now, here I would just like to make another point. As you're identifying the object and as you're identifying the color, also identify what that color or the drawing makes you feel. For example, Bimaljit says almond, yellow and brown color. So when you focus on this color, how does it make you feel? What is it about the almond that caught your eye at the moment? What is the connection you can see here? Purple, hiding feelings. Excellent. Blue, longing. We have such a different, plethora of emotions that are coming in. We're not sticking to just the basic emotions, the primary emotions, and I'm so happy to see that. This might be the first time that a lot of us are practicing, art. Archini says pineapple flavored poppins. A happy color reminds me of childhood. Beautiful. Orange, feeling strong. So as I was saying, a lot of us are practicing this for the first time, using colors as a medium to identify how you're feeling. As in when you develop a habit of connecting to yourself, checking in with yourself more often, realizing, recognizing, and giving, names to the feelings that you're feeling, using colors as a, helping sort of tool, you'll be able to understand yourself a lot better. You'll be able to understand your needs and wants a lot better. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for all of these responses, guys. So basically, from the first point where we drew in a colored circle to this point where we picked up something in our surroundings and we experienced it, what we did was we named our feelings, right? So these are the feelings that you're feeling at the moment. All right. Moving on to the next technique, bank of affirmations. Now, bank of affirmations is an exercise that is written. Okay, that is a written exercise. It will not have colors, it would rather have your pen or your pencil. Now, what is a bank of affirmations? A bank of affirmations is basically you can take anything. You can take a small envelope. You can make an envelope right here. You can take a small dabba, a glass jar if you like collecting glass jars. And in that jar, you put up positive affirmations about yourself. You can decide the frequency, you can decide how often you want to draw a positive affirmation. Okay. Usually, what happens is today we are going to start off with just for a week's time. A positive affirmation is a statement that reflects your intentions towards yourself. Okay. It uses your inherent power of belief. And as and when you need an extra boost on a difficult day, as and when you take out one sheet of paper, you read out a positive affirmation for the day. Over time, it helps you build self esteem by changing the way you view yourself. As you have more and more positive affirmations pouring into your bank, you will have more resources to cope on a difficult day. So, how does this work? Here, the steps are very simple. Okay. To help you feel more engaged to the work that you're doing, I would like you all to tear up a small piece of paper just for this exercise. Later on, you can transfer your affirmations to a jar, a box, anything of sentimental value that you carry, right? And in that envelope, write down 7 positive affirmations for the next 1 week. Now, if you would like an affirmation, what would you say is a positive affirmation? An affirmation is something that you believe in, that you want to embody in your day to day routine, that you want to embody as a part of your personality. For example, I am strong, I am capable, I am loved, I am a kind person, I am a good friend to everybody. I take care of my loved ones, I take care of myself. All of these are positive affirmations. At the end of the day, you can write them down in a journal, or you can write them down in sheets of paper and fill up your bank. Of course, it's a completely randomized thing. So whenever you need an affirmation, you put your hand inside the jar or that envelope, pull one out. Spend some time with the affirmation. Spend some time repeating it out loud. Spend some time thinking about why you wrote down this affirmation in the first place. What are the things around it that you have already done that you can also do later on? Okay. So, as the first step, I would like you all to make a small envelope out of a piece of paper. Note down, I have written down 7. You can write down any number of affirmations you want in the next 2 minutes. And the idea is to do it spontaneously. The idea is not to think too much. Okay, the idea is to spontaneously see what beliefs you carry about yourself. All right. Once you're done, I would also request all of you to kindly put up some of the affirmations that you have written down for yourself in the messages so that as a community we can see, identify similarities in thought, we can identify similar things that people believe in. Let's start off. We have 2 minutes. Let's get this done. Please start. I'm using this small sheet of paper to make a small rudimentary envelope. As you can see, I have made a small bank, a small envelope where I'm going to put down a couple of affirmations for myself. And if you're finding it difficult to find affirmations for the next 1 week, for the next 10 days, you can start by writing down a couple of affirmations for today, depending on how you're feeling at the moment. I'm going to be sharing my first affirmation with you guys, and I would request you to put down a couple of yours as well. My first affirmation is: it is all right for me to be very emotional on days. It is absolutely all right to feel how I feel. As somebody who sometimes struggles with a lot of, mood ups and downs, this affirmation for me is an act of kindness, is an act of gratitude that I'm showing to myself that despite everything else, despite however else the world is running, I am here for myself. This is my affirmation. May I please see a couple more affirmations on the chat box? I am capable of doing great things. Mistakes are okay. Positive attitude. I am unstoppable. I am strong. Now, what happens is if you look at it on a realistic and a practical level, if you look at it, it might seem that you're writing down a couple of things, okay, that you're not going to think about, or life is as such that you do not get time to think about it. But the very act that you're taking right now at the moment, the time that you're taking to acknowledge that these are your core beliefs, that these are the beliefs you would like to take forward, shows that you definitely want to do better by yourself. Start exercising from tomorrow onwards, setting new targets. See, so all of these affirmations give you an idea about who you are. They give you an idea about who you want to be. What are the things you start to work on? What are the things you need to change in yourself or in your lifestyle or in your routine? Once again, this exercise is also one that will help you understand your needs better, your wants better. It will help you understand what drives you better. Okay, all right. Moving on to the next exercise. All right, this is a exercise that I particularly love. Okay, this exercise is called Who Listens to You? Another way of, acknowledging one, people who support you, people who love you, people who allow you to be who you are. At the same time, acknowledging that, mental health is something that is deeply tied with social support. Human beings are social animals, and of course, without interpersonal relationships, it's almost nearly impossible to live a normal life. In mental health, we particularly pay attention to the role of close relationships, be it family, be it friends, be it loved ones, be it a romantic relationship, people who can help you grow in a healthy manner. And growth does not always mean that they're helping you move from a place to another, career or otherwise. Growth can also mean people who are supportive of you while you are on this constant journey to understand yourself. Okay. So by practicing this exercise, Who Listens to You, we are going to be identifying people that you are inherently grateful for. So very simple. For the next 1 minute, I want you to carefully think and identify one person who listens to you, actually listens to you, not just talks to you or replies to you, but somebody who takes the time to understand you, who values what you have to say. Draw them. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Draw them however you want to draw them. Draw them how you imagine them, right? Color them in. Once you do that, note down, put the person in between, and around the person, note down what emotions you feel around them. Color them with the colors that they make you feel, right? For example, uh, if it is somebody who makes you feel very loved, if it's whatever color you associate with feeling loved, use that color to fill them in. Okay. The instructions are on the screen. Draw somebody who makes you feel valued. Take your time to draw this person. Let's take the next 2 to 3 minutes. If you want some more time, that would do as well. Once you're done drawing them, if you're comfortable sharing, tell us who you drew and what are the feelings that they make you feel. So, folks, I hope that you've had time to, make a small drawing of somebody who listens to you, somebody who makes you feel valued. And I hope you've been able to identify the emotions you feel around them. At any point when you were identifying what emotions you feel around them, was gratitude also one among them? Yes, no, yes, right? So, the point of this exercise is for us to consciously recognize that how grateful certain people in our lives make us feel. That sometimes when we do not have the courage to do things for ourselves, maybe we take the courage from them, from these people who love us so much, from the people that we are so eternally grateful for. So I'll go ahead as usual and share my drawing first. So I made a drawing of my mom and I drew her in two of the happiest colors that I know, pink, which is my favorite color. And for me, it represents all the love, all the happiness in the world, and yellow because it's such a happy color. The identified emotions as I was taking my time. How do I feel around this person? She listens to me. I feel comforted. It's painless. I feel trusted. I feel absolutely loved amongst a couple, right? So when you take a step back from your routine, from your grind, where you do not have time to think about anything else, let alone practice intentional gratitude, an exercise like this can bring your focus back on who your priorities are, what makes life worth living, right? So please go ahead and write, put down who is the person that you thought of, who is the person that you drew, and what emotions do you feel around them. You can put down just one of the emotions if you want. If you're comfortable sharing, you can tell us all the emotions that you feel around them. But please go ahead and share if you're comfortable. If you would like to, take your video on, put your video on, and if you'd like to share your drawing, I'd be happy, happy, happy to see it. Mom makes me feel safe, loved, understands my struggles. I colored her yellow and pink. Same, 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 Ashwarya. I colored my mom yellow and pink as well. It truly, truly changes how you viewed your entire day when you take a moment, a step back to experience gratitude with intention. Anybody else who would like to share? Okay, R. So, brother feels inspired color, peacock green. That's a very unique color and very justified as well. All right. All right, folks, let's move on to our next technique. Yes. So, the fourth one is a release and relaxation technique. It, Aslesha tells best friend, trust, respect, cares, blue and red. All right. Okay. So moving on to the release and relaxation technique. So the release and relaxation technique is a process of creative visualization. Okay. It helps you physically imagine the stress leaving your body or whatever emotion you're feeling leaving your body. It creates a mental distance between you and the stressor. By practicing this particular method on a day to day basis, you'd be able to detach from your day to day stressors much easily. And this is a method that I often do with myself at the end of the day. This is an exercise that would require you to be in touch with your body as well. Let us start by taking 6 deep and slow breaths. And if you're unable to take a very deep breath, it's okay. Take it to how much ever you can. I usually count to 6 while I'm taking a deep breath in. I'm never able to hit 6 yet, but try taking your breath in until you count to 6. As you're breathing, I will ask you to visualize something. Okay. So if you would require me to start counting, let's start. Let's take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. Take another breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Allow yourself to feel the deep breaths that you're taking. Allow yourself to feel the breath. Feel it in your chest. Feel it as it enters your stomach. Feel it as you exhale through your mouth. Now, whatever emotion you're feeling at the moment, imagine that this emotion is pouring out of you in a stream of color. Imagine it is pouring out of your hands, out of your body, out of your eyes, out of the orifices in your scalp. Imagine it is pouring out of you. What color do you see pouring out of you? And what is this emotion that is pouring out of you? Keep taking deep breaths and visualize, identify the color and the emotion that is pouring out of you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whatever emotion you visualized pouring out of you in a stream of color, put that down on a piece of paper Put it into any shape that you want. Put it into whatever shape you're feeling right now. Color it in with the color that you saw and identify which emotions you were feeling. Please take 2 minutes to draw this out. Is anybody ready to share what they have just poured out of their systems? Let me go first. So, when I imagined all of these feelings that I was feeling at the moment, or when I imagined all of them pouring out of me, I imagined them pouring out of me in a series of concentric circles. If you can see, at the center of it is red. For me, red is passion. I'm passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about the fact that there are people here who is actively engaging, that I'm making a difference for. Red is surrounded by pink, which is for me is a color of comfort and happiness and love. I'm comfortable right now. I love coming to my office. I love sitting here, and therefore I'm comfortable. I have also drawn a concentric circle of yellow. Yellow for me is hope. Again, the feeling that there will be people who will take back from this session and will help themselves get better. And finally, the outermost corner is a very dull shade of blue. It's cyan. And for me, that's a little bit of sadness due to something personal that I'm going through at the moment. However, what I'm doing here, as you can see, I'm acknowledging both the positives and the negatives. If you have ever been told that, positives, you should only be happy or you should only be sad, okay, this either of the two, then it's not true. It is possible for happiness and sadness, for positive and negative emotions to coexist side by side. That is why we're human. We are extremely complex emotional animals. And it is completely all right to acknowledge it as such. R says green for me, peaceful, wonderful. I'm very happy that you're feeling this way. Anybody else? What color poured out of you? Golden, calm, shape, boundless, expanding. That is beautiful, Bimaji. Thank you for sharing. What else are we feeling today, people? Anybody else? Pink and purple, flowing, beautiful. I was saying that it is also understandable if if this is the first time you're trying to connect your emotions to colors and if you're finding it a little difficult. It just means that you will need to tune into yourself at a much more deeper level, at a level where you might benefit from somebody helping you through this one on one, or for somebody who would like to do this in the peace of their bedrooms, because I know a lot of people who prefer doing that. However it is, whatever it is, allow yourself the grace and time to connect, to be able to process your emotions with this method as well. Sumat says inverted triangle, orange and anxiety, trying to live in the moment, letting go, trying to calm down. That is extremely insightful of you, Suman, extremely insightful to acknowledge such complex and such opposing emotions to be existing inside you. Trying to live in the moment, trying to be in the present, also trying to calm down and to let go. Okay, to be able to identify that you are a human being, you're a being with complex, sometimes opposing feelings, also takes a lot of patience and courage. Okay. Once again, I would like to tell you that if in this session you are left with, feeling different, unresolved feelings, want to talk about the feelings that you discovered you have, please feel free to reach out to me. I am the psychologist with Circle Health, or with Karishma. She is also a psychologist. Okay. Let us know when you'd like to catch up and we'll be there for you. All right. The smile box technique. The smile box technique again is a very, very happy technique. It's one of the most, widely used techniques in Gestalt therapy, in positive psychology. Essentially, here what happens, it is also a gratitude exercise. So in this, what you do is you draw three things that inherently make you happy. Now, why did I put the word inherently and what does it mean? Inherently means things that don't change how they make you feel. Okay, one, they should make you happy, of course. Second, these are things or people, okay, that do not change how you feel, that are stable in your life. Okay. And why we are identifying these three things? Because one of the best, ways to cope with feelings of anxiety or depression or daily stressors is by holding on to our pillars of happiness and trust. Okay. And openly sharing with the entire team here. As a student, I was diagnosed with depression. And this is a technique that my therapist also practiced with me. Things that don't change value for me, things that inherently make me happy. And till today, the three things and people I identified, I make sure that I keep reminding myself that these are the three pillars that truly support me through my life, through the situations, through whatever situation I'm in. So let us start. Please continue to your piece of paper. These three things can be anything. They can be a person, they can be a thing, they can be a situation, they can be a place, right? Three things that you draw comfort from, three things that inherently make you happy and do not change how you feel on a day to day basis. Now, once you draw these three things, also note down what they make you feel. What are the emotions that you feel around these three things? Let us take 3 or 4 minutes. We might extend by a 5 minutes, and I hope that's okay with everybody, right? So let us take the next 3 to 4 minutes to quickly draw these things, color them in the colors that we feel they represent. Let's start. All right, folks, we do have a slight constraint of time, and otherwise, there is actually no limit, no time limit to how long you can take to draw out your feelings, right? And if we ever sit one on one, we'll be able to do that. But since we are on a time constraint, I'm going to once again first share what I have drawn, how it makes me feel, and then I would request you to, put up a couple of the things that truly make you smile. So on my sheet of paper, as you can see, I have two dogs. This is my dog Bubbles, this is my dog Bruno, and this is my mom with pink hair. My strongest sources of support, my pillars that I go back to at the end of a tough day. They make me feel safe, loved, comforted, and they give meaning to my life, right? So once again, an exercise in gratitude. This helps me sharply draw contrast to what the rest of my day has been like and how it is going right now as I think about them, as I acknowledge the role that they play in my life. Can I have a couple of answers? What have you recorded? What have you put down on your smile bank? Mom, dad, cheesecake. Truly wonderful. Cheesecake is one of the best things on earth, truly. Ganesha, spiritual hope, chocolates, and music. Thank you, folks. Thank you so much for, being so spontaneous with your responses. Thank you for actually sharing with the rest of us as well. My pet, Suman says, my pet dog. Joyful, loved, relaxed, golgappe, gratitude for small things in life, carefree, walks to feel refreshed, mother with joy from R. All right. Thank you so much for sharing, folks. Moving on to our last technique for the day. Okay. Not that art therapy is only limited to these techniques. Art and therapy can take any form and shape. In fact, we can also customize what you can do depending on your habits, your hobbies, and your personal experience. Okay. The last technique that I'm going to show you today is called the worry technique. Again, just like the technique where we visualized our emotions pouring out of us, this is a little more specific with stress. What we do is essentially you visualize a tree, okay, the kind of tree that you feel like you are. Leave the branches empty. And on those branches, write down one thing or how many other things that are stressing you out. Okay, the ones that are stressing you out the most, put it on a higher branch. The ones that are stressing you out a little less, put it on a lower branch. Yes. Draw any outline of a tree, keep the branches empty. Identify any negative emotion that you may be feeling that is leading to stress, and put it onto the branches. How many worries do you have, and what does your tree look like at the end? Those are the questions we'll be visiting. Let's take 2 minutes to draw out our trees. Please start. And if by chance you draw too many branches, right? You think you have too many worries, you draw too many branches and you don't have enough worries to fill them with, then you can draw a leaf there, showing that it's a place where you feel whole, where you feel safe and comforted, and that no stressor is out there. All right. So, team, without further ado, I'm going to, share my tree with you. And this is what my tree looks like. I also assumed I have a lot of stressors. So two of these branches get leaves. So this is again reassurance to me that life is not as bad as it looks. Right. So my branches have on the top is money, followed by my dog's health, because one of them is a senior dog, followed by an upcoming discussion at the office that I'll have to take part in soon, that I'm not looking forward to a lot. And finally, dinner, because I have to go home and cook dinner. So that is also a stressor. Right? So what I did essentially here today, I put down all of my worries on this tree. Now I have more visibility. Now I know what my priorities are at the top. Now it'll be a little more easier for me if I keep repeating this exercise consistently to identify what I need to work on. For example, at the start of every week, if you take out some time to draw a worry tree, put the top worries at the top, put the top priorities at the top of the tree, and then followed by the rest. You'll be able to prioritize your goals, your needs, your work better. You'll be able to prioritize the people that you need to work with better. Okay, it gives you more visibility on your weak areas as well. Now, is there anybody who would like to show us their tree or just list down a couple of stressors that you're facing right now? Please go ahead. And I always encourage, my clients or people in attendance to share it out loud, because what happens is the more we talk about it, the easier it gets, right? And I deeply believe in human beings being a community. The more we share, the more we find people with similar experiences, it gives us a lot more hope. Aishwarya says, not able to manage finances, able to take care of self, not making home food for myself, my parents' health. Three of your branches have leaves. Wonderful. This is a perspective in itself, that you think that these are the many worries you have, these are the many negativities you have, and then you also go back with a branch with leaves. You go back by, having this in mind that not every day is as bad. There are good things as well, right? And whatever is not good, at least you have visibility. You'd be able to work on them. You'd be able to discuss with a professional about how to work on them. Acceptance, improvement, settling down, missing fun of travel, feeling pressurized. Okay, all right. So, folks, these are the emotions, these are the feelings that I'm going to leave you with today. Okay, so what we did essentially today is we use art. Okay, while I guided you, while I told you how it's going to be used, while I told you how to use it. Okay, in a guided manner, we all paid mindful attention to how we're feeling. We practice gratitude, we practice visualization to consistently, release stress as well. What happens is when you take out the time, say on a day-to-day basis, or every couple of days, or in a week, or whenever you feel the need to unwind, to slow down, to check into yourself, to see how you're doing, to check into yourself, to understand where you are. And a check in doesn't always mean a physical check in. Of course, a physical check in is as important. You check your blood pressure from time to time, you go for blood tests from time to time, you check your eyes, you check your other health from time to time. Similarly, on days when you're feeling confused, on days when you're feeling like you don't know what you're feeling, pick up any of these techniques. Yeah, feel what you're going to feel. As you acknowledge, you begin to heal. As you let yourself experience these feelings, as you let yourself process these feelings, you're able to feel better at the end of it. As long as we keep suppressing our feelings with our schedules, with our work life, with our jobs, As long as we keep doing that, the internal voice that we have, the concept of self that we have, keeps getting further and further away from us. This is an excellent way to de stress. This is an excellent way to change perspective, experience gratitude, and this is an excellent way to check in with yourself. I hope that this session has been useful. I am very thankful to everybody who joined and particularly to those who stayed. Thank you so much for listening. I will take questions from you now if you have any. If you would like to, book a session with me personally to discuss whatever we did today or otherwise, please feel free to do so.
I do have a question.
Hi, Suman, please tell me.
Yes, I think it's easier said than done to get back to these practices and therapies when we are at our lowest, or maybe we are thinking too much, right? So I don't think I usually go back to such therapies. I do know, I'm aware of such things, but I hardly go back to it. So how do I make myself go back to it?
Understood. So what happens is usually times like this, we would go back to a technique like this only at a point of crisis, right? That things are absolutely not going well, and this is where I want to start this and expect a quick solution. However, Suman, the real fact with mental health work is it is mostly maintenance work, meaning that it requires a dedicated time, a dedicated way of practicing as well. Just like any other machinery, right? For anything to run, for example, a car, you would need to oil it from time to time, you would need to regularly service it. Mental health work is just like maintenance work. It's work that doesn't come with a lot of change every day, doesn't come with a lot of excitement. But what you can do to help yourself adhere to it is by building a small regular habit, a small regular check-in. Instead of sitting down one day when you're feeling absolutely down in the dumps and you sit with all six techniques and try to work it out, instead of that, what you can do, you can fix up a day in a week where you check in regularly with yourself, right? Over time, this becomes a habit, and that will help you stick to it and cope on difficult days. However, I absolutely acknowledge that with certain mental health disorders, issues, particularly if it has got to do with chemical imbalances in your body, for example, severe depression, severe anxiety, or ADHD, or bipolar disorder, or any of the personality disorders, you would require one-on-one counseling as well.
Understood. Understood. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? All right, team. So since we don't have any other questions, what I have done is I have put up my work email ID, shraddha@circlehealth.in. Please make a note. If you'd like to connect anytime, book a session, have a discussion, or just have a talk sometime about how you're feeling, what you're going through, please feel free to write to me. Anything and everything that we discuss will be kept absolutely confidential. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Thank you, Manisha, and thank you to Preksha as well, who has, done so much to make sure that everything is foolproof and everybody can see what we're doing. Thanks, thanks to both teams and everybody else who is in attendance.
One question around a TPA health card. You can reach out to your care manager. She will be able to help you with that. We'll put down the number here.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Please take care. Let's catch up soon again.